Happy New Year to you all. You said I'll talk about myself.
Yes.
I don't know what you want me to say.
Just tell us about
Um,
yourself, your story, something you just want to share with the audience, and then I'll tell you something special.
hey,
Yes.
this feels like a trap. That's no problem. So my name is Mao Kenny. Most people call me Kenny. It means God's gift. In Krobo. I'm essentially a talkative who is making a living out of talking and communicating to people. I have been doing this for the last 11, almost 12 years in various forms. It took me a while to figure out what my purpose is. I would say it's a continuous process. But the thing that I would definitely say is if I didn't start doing something, I would not have known what works for me, what doesn't work for me, what I resonate more naturally with, what I enjoy, what I need to grow to meet up to, what I need to grow to accommodate, and all of that. So that's what I'd say in relation to my purpose and who I am. It's still unfolding, and I'm sure I'll figure it out. But at this point, it largely includes communicating and using that communication to drive change, to inspire people, to entertain, educate where need be in various forms. So not just with my work, but with the content I produce on my socials, with the kind of advocacy I do, everything that I do, I really think it's all somehow linked. So that's who I am. If you want any more details, you can Google me. I'm sure there'll be other details there.
Okay, so I know you have a blog and you tell stories and all that. Can you maybe talk about that a bit? How it started? Because I think that was one of the things that made me start to follow you.
Right.
Yeah.
So again, in when I talked about the introduction, I talked about how purpose is linked to the things that you do. I had lost my dad about 12 years ago, and because we're very close, I just took to writing on Facebook. It was my way of ignoring my grief, I guess. And I would write about random things. What was happening with the church roll meets, what was happening with the Kiribili seller, what was happening in my neighborhood. I'll just write stories about those things. And I realized that people started looking forward to those stories. And one of the people who used to read it on Facebook suggested that I should start a blog. And so I did. I wasn't sure if I wanted to do that, but now I look back and I can't imagine what my life would have been like if I had not started the blog. I'd have probably been a lawyer, um, maybe miserable in my 9 to 5, because I didn't realize that comms was where my heart was until I started writing. But writing taught me how to communicate with various audiences. It made me realize I actually like doing that. It pivoted into all sorts of things, got me so many jobs, so many opportunities. Like Pell is saying, that's what connected her to me. It opened up my network because all sorts of people were reading the blog from all across the world. And it was just me talking about things that were happening in Ghana. So that is pretty much how writing on my blog to deal with my grief became a way of me discovering my purpose. That if I hadn't started the blog, I would not have figured out that I enjoy communicating with people. I enjoy translating people's experiences into written context or even spoken context in certain instances. And yeah, my life would not have become what it has become today. Yeah. So that's the story of the blog.
Okay, great. So the reason why I mentioned that was um, I used to write about myself back I started back in secondary school. Most of those times were quite lonely moments for me. And so I started writing. And then I think, like, I have a lot of books of things I've written, like concepts that I thought of, like I observed and all that. And so once I chanced on your blog, and I was like, oh, like people had told me, oh, start a blog, and I was like, is blogging a thing in Ghana? Yeah, because I mean, the blogs I read are mostly people outside the country and all that. So I was asking myself, is blogging a thing in Ghana? And so when I chanced on your blog, I was like, Mark is doing it. Why can't I do it? So you are an inspiration for me starting my blog. I start,
Oh,
yes, yes, and I don't know. I wanted to tell you this, but I felt like maybe the right moment will come when I have to tell you this. And then when I met you at PMC, that's Ohime's conference, I think there were quite a lot of people around you. And so I felt like, okay, this is not the right moment. So I was like, God, when is the right moment for me to even talk to her and tell her about this? And so, yes, you inspired me to start blogging and, yes, like to take it up and then like run with it. So thank you so much for um, being bold to put yourself out there because you've been an inspiration. I'm not sure I'm the only one. I'm sure there are other people there as well. Yes, so thank you.
oh, this is cute. But I appreciate it. It's may seem mundane to you, but things like this remind me to keep doing what I'm doing. Because sometimes I feel like not doing it and minding my own business. So thank you for sharing that. Yeah.
Yeah, you're welcome and thank you too. Okay, so we'll just go right into it. So the first thing is we want to understand self-discovery and its role in branding. So I have um, a few questions. So how does, I mean, as you started and you are in comms, you are in branding. I mean, how does self-discovery impact like our personal brand and our business brand? Because I mean, when you are starting, I mean, you are still trying to find your feet. You you don't know what to put out there. But what are some of the basic things that we can do to put ourselves out there to say that okay, this is my purpose, this is what I want to do for the world, and so um, what how do I go about it as a beginner or as someone who is now discovering themselves and then putting themselves out there?
Well, start from where you are. That's what I tell everybody. Even when you open Google Maps and you are going somewhere, the first thing it tries to do is figure out where you are to figure out where you want to get to. So start from where you are. How do I start from where I am? Ask yourself questions. What do I like? When was I genuinely happy working on something at work? What was that? What made me happy? Which part of my job do I enjoy? What are the things I see myself drawn to? What do the people around me observe about me? What's my relationship with authority? What's my relationship with money? How do I deal with working with a team? How do I work alone? Um, what are the kind of things that catch my attention on social media? All of those things help you to understand who you are. Sometimes it's even as simple as taking a personality test. There are so many of them online. Just by answering a few questions, you're able to figure out this is the kind of person I am. This is the kind of thing I like. This is the kind of environment I'll thrive in. This is the kind of direction I want my life to take. Sometimes even who you admire, because there is a relationship between the people you admire and what you want in life. Usually, you admire something in them that you don't have, or something you want, you aspire to. So, all those things will give you a fair idea of what to start looking at, what to start working on. So, that's really where to start. Once you gather all that information, then you have to work through what you like and what you don't like, because some of the things you would hear are you are rude or you're not time conscious or you don't do well with feedback, and maybe you want to be president of Ghana. If you want to be president of Ghana, dear, you must be able to take feedback. So between now and the time you become president, it means that one of the things you need to do is to figure out how to get better at taking feedback so that you can be president of Ghana in future. Again, that's just an example if that's your dream. But whatever it is, when you look at all the information you have, you should be able to see what is working, what is not working, what needs to be improved upon. And that's really where you can start. Because as for your brand, you already have it. People already think a certain way about you. They already have perceptions about you and your capabilities. And it's really up to you to decide how you want to present yourself going forward. So that's what I have to say about self discovery.
Okay. So I like the part where you say how you want to present yourself going forward, because I like the fact that every day is a new chance to start all over again. And so it doesn't matter
Definitely.
where you are right now. Once you've made up your mind that you want to start all over again, you can start all over, but you start from where you are. Thank you. Okay, so the second thing is we want to define our why, or define our purpose with clarity. Why is it important that we need to define our why or define our purpose before we start to build the brand?
So the truth is, I don't think you need to define your purpose before you start building a brand. And I'll give you an example. Someone like me is now fully discovering a purpose. Like I said, it's a continuous process. But I had already started building my brand. What you just need to figure out is the things you like, and they will help you to define your purpose for that time, for that time frame. Maybe you want to be the best employee in your office at this point. That's your short term purpose, to be excellent at your work. That's what you want as your why. The truth is, your why will unfold as you keep living your life, as certain circumstances present themselves. Perhaps you will get married and decide, I don't want to be career oriented anymore. I want to spend more time with my family. Or I want a job that allows me to go on a picnic with my child in the afternoon. I don't know, whatever your goal is. It keeps shifting. So if you bind your brand to one purpose, the truth is you will feel like you have to keep reinventing yourself. So just focus on growing your brand, discovering, rediscovering, shaping, learning and unlearning. As you're doing it, the path becomes clearer. When it comes to your purpose, that's the truth. When you start moving, that's when it becomes clearer. Because a lot of the people that we look up to didn't wake up when they were 14 and decide, I know this person, this is the person in my head that I'm going to be in future, and that's it. For most of them, it was a journey. For most of them, they tried different things, it didn't work out. Then they found, oh, this works for me. Some of them was even by accident. I told you how mine happened. If my father hadn't passed, I probably would not have discovered that this was my path. So I would not say have a purpose cast in stone before you start. I'll just say have a destination in mind based on your brand right now. But your purpose in the long term, it will evolve, and as you navigate building your brand and finding the things you like, where you want to get to, you will find that like it's drawing a path towards your purpose.
Okay. Um. So now I have a follow-up question.
Sure thing.
Um. So you are saying that it becomes clearer, and sometimes your brand can your why can be short term. It doesn't have to be like a long term thing, because as you move through the seasons of life, your priorities change, and so your purpose changes. So the follow up question is now, how do we navigate these changes in our brand, and how can we accommodate these changes? I mean, we built the brand, and so now things have to change. How do we accommodate the change? Because I mean, for me, I'm an overthinker. If things are about to change, it takes me quite a while to be able to adjust to these changes. So how can we how can we make these changes to affect our brand?
So, and you hear me say this a lot, really
Mm,
evaluation,
mm,
constantly just looking at what is it that I'm doing now? What is working now? What do I want to keep from this current season? What do I want to change? What do I want to leave behind? What do I want to add? What do I want to take out? What is frustrating me about this current season? What am I looking forward to in the next season? If you're an overthinker, then chances are that you also spot the changes very quickly. You see it coming from a mile away and you start overthinking in advance. Am I right? Or you're not like that?
yes, like I something that
Precisely.
would, yes, uh-huh.
Yeah, that's how we are. Those of us who are like that, it means that you get a heads up. Think of it as a heads up.
Okay.
So start thinking through, what do I need to handle the change that is coming? Because if you take too long to adjust to the change as well, you might miss a certain window. You might miss certain opportunities because you are grumbling about how things are not going according to your vision board. The truth is, change is constant. What you need to do is figure out what you need to learn in that season, what I can take from it to the season I'm in, what I can draw from that to take to the season I'm going to. What do I need to figure out on the way? What will I have to ask for help for? Because that's also another thing. Sometimes simply by asking for help, simply by saying, I'm struggling with this, help me. I know someone who had just pivoted into a strict 9 to 5, and that person was struggling to figure out how to navigate that 9 to 5. He sent me a message on LinkedIn and said, I'm struggling with this. Can we have a conversation? We had a conversation. 2 years down the line, he sends me a picture of him doing really well at work. And I'm extremely proud of him because he asked for help when he saw the warning signs rather than say, oh God, they're going to fire me, and overthink himself into being fired. Actually, sometimes it requires asking for help. But at every point in time, constantly evaluate, look at what's happening. Um, am I handling this well? Is there anything I can improve upon? Is there anything I need? Is there someone I can ask for help? You actively need to do that. If you don't do that, something will pass you by. And in I'm sure, well, you guys prayed before you started, so I'm assuming this is a Christian situation. But look at Joseph. If at any point in time he had missed what he was supposed to do at a certain time, he would not be the person we're referring to. If he had sat in resentment in prison and not made himself useful to the person that was in charge of the prison, he would not have enjoyed that favor for him to even speak to the servants that helped him to go and speak to Pharaoh. So there are certain moments, and if you spend time just being in the I don't like the change and I don't like what is happening in my life, you might miss it. So constantly, if you're an overthinker, you have an advantage. You see it coming from a mile away. If you're not an overthinker, when you do see it, instantly put in an action plan. What is happening? What does God want me to learn? Especially because you're Christian. Our position is everything that is happening for a reason, and God is navigating it somehow to make my life more meaningful or prepare me for what is ahead. So if you have that outlook, then it always guides the changing scenes. Because the truth is, your purpose has already been written by God before the beginning of time. But we are the ones who are now discovering it. So, yeah, that's what I have to say. I don't know if I answered your question fully,
Oh
but
yes, yes you did. You did, and I feel like this is personalized. Like it's hitting me.
it's hitting you. Eh?
Yes. Anyway, thank you. So now we want to take action, how do we build a brand? I mean, some of us think we've got it. Um, Tell us, how can we start from beginners? I have people on this call who are extremely good at what they do, but it's like they're now trying to find their feet to be able to put out like a brand out there to say that, okay, this is what I do, this is how I do it, this is what I do, and this and this and this. They are struggling. So how do we do that in today's digital world? Yes.
Please ask for your brand. You already have it all. You already have a brand. Oh. I promise you. If you like ask your work colleagues what they think about you.
Yeah.
People have opinions about the way you dress, the way you talk in meetings, um, what your boss thinks of you. Just by they have opinions. You cry, you have your own opinions about people in the office. Or if you work in an entrepreneurship startup, you have your opinions about the people you work with. If you are in school, you have opinions about the people you're in school with. So those opinions already exist. What you need to figure out is whether you like what those opinions are. That's why I kept stressing understanding self discovery, going through the motion of this is who I am, this is what people think of me. Maybe that's not who you want to be seen as, or that's not what you intended to send across. So, how do you change that narrative? That's really where to begin. Once you figure out that information and you figure out where you want to go to, you just need to plot the active steps. So for me, in my case, I was just a writer until it became my 9 to 5. So then I had to pivot from saying that I'm just a storyteller to I'm a comms professional. It took time to figure out even the lingo in the comms world, to figure out where the people in comms gather, to figure out whether that's even what I want to do long term. All of that happens in the doing, but you have to plot it out. In my case, okay, this is what I need to do. These are the people I need to know. These are the people who need to know me. These are the things I need to learn. These are the things I need to drop. This is how to show up consistently in that space so that people can see me. I'm trying to be vague because I want to give you active steps because everyone is different. Maybe you are working in pharmacy. Who are the people in pharmacy that need to know that you exist? Is it your higher ups? Is it your peers? Even the people lower than you, those who work in that healthcare industry. Maybe it's distributors, maybe it's someone who has just opened a new chain of pharmacies. Figure out the people that need to know you and then make sure that they are knowing you for what you want to be known for. It's just as simple as maybe I want to be known as a person who shows up on time. So every one of those meetings that you have with them, you're on time. It's as simple as that. It's not because it's those little things. So they are all pharmacists, but this guy is always on time. That becomes part of your brand. Or she's the first person to submit her work. Or when she makes a suggestion or a submission, it's well thought through, and everybody's like, "Oh, I never thought of that." Maybe that's what it is that will make you the distinguishing feature because I'm sure as you can see, master's degrees are many. Qualifications and certifications. If you sit on LinkedIn, there are plenty. Every year you discover a new one. There's always something that you can do to improve upon yourself. But that shouldn't necessarily be the focus. The focus should be what makes you unique. What makes you you? What makes people pay attention to you in one way or the other? What makes you stand out? My thing is I know how to talk and write. That's my thing. Everywhere I go, regardless of what I do, even if I end up in what's the most dramatic thing I can think of? I can't think of anything that's so bizarre because I'm capable of doing it all, truly.
Yeah.
So long as it has to do with talking and writing, I can do it. And I'll do it for you. So that's my whole thing. But you need to figure out what your thing is. You need to figure that out. No one can do that work for you. You need to sit through it and say, this is who I am. This is what I want to do. This is what I like. This is what I want to be known for. And actively show up as that. Where are the people who need to see you? Are they on LinkedIn? Then show up on LinkedIn. How are you engaging with them? It's not you just posting and going. Engage with the people so that they can see your name and know that you exist. So that the next time they see your post, it's not business as usual. You actually have a tangible relationship with them. Are they on Twitter? Then be on Twitter. When they are talking, talk with them. That's how they will know your name and know that you exist and know that you're a pharmacist who knows XYZ. Without that, no one will know. And where are they? Are they at a conference? Be at that conference. Go and introduce yourself. Make a submission. Ask a question. That's how people will know you. The people you want to know you will know you. But if you hide in your corner and just assume my degree will speak for me, everybody's degree is speaking and is a loudspeaker. So we will not hear you. We will not see what makes you unique. That tangible thing that's you. So everyone has a thumbprint, and I'm sure we all know how different everyone's thumbprint is. That's how unique your personal brand is. It's crafted for you if you are intentional about it. So that's really what I'll say about going for it. Once you've done all that work of figuring out who I am, what I want to be, blah blah, start communicating that to the people who need to know you, who need to see you. If you do that well, you see that opportunities start to open up. So I keep using. Are there any pharmacists here? I don't have used pharmacist examples, and maybe there's no pharmacist here. Are there any pharmacists on this call, by any chance? But
I'm going
there are
through
no
the list.
pharmacists.
No, no, there are no
Just
pharmacists here.
I don't know why pharmacist examples just keep jumping in my head,
Someone
but
is meant to be a pharmacist here.
maybe. But you've gone for a pharmaceutical conference, and they're looking for someone to do something, volunteer your time. That is how they would know the next time that, oh, there's even this girl who she's younger than most people, but she was enthusiastic and she helped us to do this and that. Maybe we should ask her if she's interested in that opportunity. Those opportunities start opening up because you are more top of mind to the people who are making decisions about things that concern your life. So start doing it. As you start, and I'm not saying that automatically you would understand your purpose, but it gives you a certain clarity. Sometimes it even helps you to see what you don't like. Maybe in my case, I realized I initially wanted to be a lawyer and work in a law firm and do the full 9 to 5. When I went to do an internship in one of the law firms, I discovered that I really did not like the working hours, and they would be the last to leave the office and the very first to come in the morning, and there were always billable hours. I said, I'm not sure if this is what I want. That if I hadn't gone to do the internship, I would never have figured out that working in a fast-paced corporate law firm was not for me. Because have you watched Suits and like those cool law firm films and series? It feels very much like, life is tasty, everyone is looking nice, everyone is doing high paced drama in the courts, they are doing in real life,
It's not
that's
like that.
not exactly what it is. So I went there and I said, nah, this is not for me. But I would not have known if I didn't go and figure it out. So in a way, I have also figured out one part of my life that is this is not what I want in the current bucket of things I'm looking at. And I would not have known that if I didn't go. So if you go, you may even discover Charlie, this is not working for me. And that's information that helps you. Maybe it'll work for you and it'll be this is the best thing I've ever done. That's fantastic. Then you can add that to navigating the next steps of your life. Yeah.
Okay, so speaking about
The way you sighed, dear, is really you. I'm sorry.
okay, so speaking about the fact that okay, you realize that okay, something is not for you. I'm curious, like how were you able to navigate through like the journey? Was it if were you able to find like the next thing that was for you or it took you some time to be able to find that, okay, this is for me. This is what I want to do now. Like I want to be freelance or like something like that.
Well, I was already writing before I
Mm.
went to the law firm, and I kept writing. And it was through writing that I got my first comms gig in an advertising firm because someone had read my stories and thought, this girl can write advertising copy. I didn't apply for that job. I didn't send my CV or anything. Someone sat somewhere reading my blog and said, this is fantastic. Like, she knows how to write. Why don't we employ her? So that's how that pivot happened, by showing up consistently. I didn't even know writing was going to be my butter, my bread and butter. But I kept doing the things that I was drawn to, consistently showing up. In fact, at that time, I used to publish every single week, every Wednesday. There's a story on my blog, fresh story. Go and read it. Leave your comments. Next week, there'll be another one. Because I didn't really have anything to do, so that was my full time. I was constantly churning out the stories. And that's what, because at every point in time, they were not looking at what they had and how they could make the most of it. They were just complaining or nagging or missing the past and not redeeming the time. Imagine if they had just eaten the things that they had been given to eat, not complained, had just gone to the promised land, defeated everybody, trusted God, and conquered the world. The story would have been, well, the Bible would have been a lot shorter. But the lesson there is, in whatever season you are in, make the most of it. Make the most of it. It helps you to even figure out the future. But you will only see that once you've gotten to that future destination. And what you don't want is to get to the future and realize, I sat here for 4 years and I just wasted my time doing nothing. That's a terrible thing. 4 years is a long time. It's a lot of time to throw away. So what you should do is just make sure at this point in time I'm making the most of what I have. Is it getting me closer to my purpose? What can I do that takes me closer to that thing that I want to get to? And work at that consistently.
Okay. Thank you again for that. I mean, today, you're peppering me, but I refuse to be peppered. Okay. Um. So my last question, and then we open the floor for other questions. Um. Now we want to be consistent with our brand. I mean, it's not. I start this today. Okay. Or okay, today I feel like this. I want to do this. Okay, today I've discovered this thing about myself. So I want everybody to see that, okay, this is me. This is, how do we stay consistent with what we put out there, or how we want people to see us, or what we want people to know about us? How do we stay consistent with that?
How do you stay consistent? I wish there was a secret that I myself knew. I'll be very happy to hold on to it. The truth is, when it comes down to consistency, it's just show up every day. And that's that one, no one can do it for you. Me, as I'm sitting here, I wish I was more consistent in a billion things. But every day is an opportunity to show up and do it. If you think about that destination that you want, if you really want that destination, you will work at it from now. If you want a flat tummy, you will not drink Coke and chew domino and sleep. You will wake up and do the work. You will drink the, what do they do, green tea, and take the walk, and
Yes,
the
and the
things you need
matcha
to
and all
do.
those things.
You will do the things you need to do to lose the weight. If you don't do it, the stomach will stay there. It won't go down. And that's the truth. If you really want the flat tummy, you will put in the work. If you don't want the flat tummy that much, then you will grumble about it and still chew the domendo. But your everyday actions will take you either closer to it or further away from it. So that's really me. What I try to do is to think about the end goal. Let's use the example of the flat tummy. I have to picture the flat tummy and see how when I wear like what's it called? A bodycon dress, I will not be pushing in my stomach to take pictures or hiding my stomach behind things. Picture that destination, whatever it is. Whether you want a bank account balance that is, I don't know what. Picture all of it. Picture all of it and work towards it. Every day, picture it. If you want it that much, you will put in the work. That's the truth. Because there is no, I can tell you, maybe do this for 20 minutes and take a break. If you don't sit down and do it for 20 minutes, we are back to where you started from. So I can give you all the tips of this is how you can plan your time and advocate and schedule it. Because even if you schedule it, the alarm will go off and you just snooze it and go back to sleep. But if you decide you want that destination, you will work towards it. So that's really it. As I'm sitting here, I'm sitting behind my laptop. There's a visual representation of something I need to do, which is supposed to be reminding me to put in the work, which is why I'm sitting behind my laptop instead of lying in a chair and talking to you guys. But if I don't want to put in that consistency, before you know it, it will be June and I've not done the things I was supposed to do in quarter one. Just show up and do it.
Okay. So think about the end goal and just show up every day and do it. Thank you so much, Malkini. So now we want to open the floor for questions because normally questions take time. And so the floor is open for questions. So maybe you can just raise your hand and then in the order we would let you speak. Doctors, I know you have a lot of questions. Please. Yes, I know you have questions. Please save them. Okay. Josh, the floor is yours.
Oh. No, I was trying to figure out how to unmute myself. The question I want to ask is I believe personal branding is different from product branding. Okay, but how do you know? Okay, how do my personal brand contribute to the success of my business brand or my product brand? If it's something that you can maybe give me a brief about.
I'm sorry, I missed the question. How does your what?
My personal brand contribute to the success of my product or my business brand.
Well, if you do it well, significantly well, anybody that is a business owner that works on their personal brand earns a certain layer of trust. They earn a certain layer of visibility. They earn a certain layer of credibility that you indirectly attach to their product. So I'll give you an example. I've given this example in many other situations before. I was selling a certain product online via Paystack. And the product, well, it's not named after me, but if you follow my pages long enough, you know that it's my product. And what I was doing was I was I was selling something online. And the week that someone bought one of the products, my phone had been stolen. And so I didn't see the notification. I didn't know that they had bought the product. And obviously, my phone had been stolen. So I was focused on blocking my numbers, blocking my Momo, trying to figure out how to get a phone. I was not checking my store accounts to see if anyone had bought anything. But a week had passed, and to this lady, it would sound as though I had stolen her money. But because she sees me showing up online, because she sees I'm constantly showing my face. I'm a Jesus girl. She knows where she can find me, quote unquote. She sends me a message on LinkedIn because obviously my phone was lost, so I was not on Instagram or Twitter or any of those places. She sent me a message on LinkedIn and said she had bought this, she had done this, and she had not received anything. So I explained to her, I'm sorry, we had a situation. I would you want a refund or I should send you the product? And that's what saved me. Otherwise, I'm sure you didn't have me on this call because I'd have been dragged on the internet back and forth because it wasn't a cheap product as well. It was a
Yeah.
few hundred CDs. So you can say you run away with my money, they'll take my picture and the blogs will drag me and all of that. But what saved the situation was the fact that I had built a personal brand that made them think, this lady may not be running away with her money. So let's give her the benefits of the doubt and ask her. Because of
Yeah.
that same personal brand, if I launch a class today, I have people who will sign up even without thinking
Thank
about how
you.
much it costs because I've built a certain kind of credibility. They know that I know my stuff. They know that when I talk about something, I know what I am trying to say. Like I know what I'm talking about. So how do they know that? Because they don't sit in my office with me. It's because I've built that currency online. So for
Yeah.
anybody who is selling a product, whether a tangible product or a digital product, you do yourself a really great favor by showing up actively online.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay. So, okay. Daniela, I just want to pass a comment and then you unmute yourself. Um, so on here we do a lot of advertisements. Josh is the CEO and founder of Akroa. He does a lot of wood stuff, woodwork, customized wood frames, tables, furniture, anything you want to be done by wood. He does that. So I'll share his Instagram page in the chat. You can just go ahead and look, like have a look at it, and then um, DM him once you have an idea. So that's what Josh also does. Okay, Daniela, the floor is yours.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Daniela Momo, and I'm a software developer. Okay, thank you so much for sharing your story. I've learned a lot, and one of the things that I return is that we already have a brand. And my question is, so it is true that we all have an opinion of about ourselves, and people also have an opinion of ourselves. How to know that what we think about ourselves, we are on track, like we are not, let's say we don't have a high opinion or a low opinion about ourselves. How to do the difference between the two?
So if you heard me at the beginning, I kept stressing spending time talking to people, finding out. So it's not simply a matter of this is what I like, this is what I don't like. You need to also ask the people in your life, the people that are in your immediate circles. What do they think about you? Um, how do you come across us? And that's why I also asked you, you have opinions about other people. So it means other people have opinions about you. They may not be what you intended to do, but that's what it is. So spend time asking them. Sometimes it includes asking your family, asking your work colleagues. but ask people who interact with you long enough so that you can also assess the kind of person you are showing up as. Because one, you may be assuming that everyone is happy with the way you're working, but it turns out that no, they're not. Or it could be that you thought that doing this will communicate X to someone, but it's rather communicating Z. So it means you need to improve upon that. But if you just look at what you think and what you are doing, it may not be the best picture. So spend time analyzing what you think about yourself, where your shortcomings are, and then also get opinions from other people. That's how to ensure that it's balanced.
Okay. Bempama, the floor is yours.
Okay, hi. Yeah, so I have a question. How do you rewrite your brand? For instance, the little that I know, you were a blogger. So let's take it maybe for the past maybe 5 years, you are known to be blogging about, in quotes, maybe gossip GH or something. And if you've grown, or you've had audience where they feel like your work is no good, they've had a negative perception about you, but you have the followers and all that, and you feel like I've discovered myself, and maybe you found Christ, and you feel like these are things that I need to change, and I need to rebrand myself. How do you go through that process?
Um, the first, I think we spoke about that at the beginning, in a way. But what I was going to say was every single day is an opportunity for you to change that narrative. And what you choose to do with that day is what will lead to the next day. Before you became the person that has that negative impression, they formed that impression because you were consistently doing that thing. So if you need to repair that situation, you need to consistently do the correct thing so that the impression about you is changed. Um, in my case, I was a blogger, yes. I still am, but now I don't publish as consistently. But I have found a way to carry that audience into the things I do now, the products I sell, the services I offer, the kind of initiatives I get my followers to participate in. I found a way to translate that along. Yes, they came because they wanted stories, but as I showed up consistently, showing them another part of me, they've taken that part of me and we are all running with it. So that's what I'll say about this. I hope that answers your question.
Yeah, thank you.
Okay. Any more questions? Are there any more questions? If there are no questions, would like to end the session. Okay. So there are no more questions. So Mal Kenny is on Instagram as Kenny Ribeiro. I'll drop her Instagram handle very soon. You can DM her on Instagram. She's very responsive. I personally, I don't even have her number, but then we chat a lot on Instagram, and so she's very responsive. So I will share her handle in the chat. If you have any more questions, you can just DM her and she would respond to you. I'm trying to get the link. Give me a moment. Okay.
Oh, I was going to say you don't even need a link. I'm everywhere except Snapchat. Everywhere where people are gathered, I'm there, except Snapchat. Yes,
Yeah,
so just type Kenny Ribeiro.
yeah,
One of them, one of them will pop up.
yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Um, Malcolm, thank you so much for honoring the invitation. I've learned a lot. I was writing as you were talking, and I have like 4 pages full.
Oh wow.
Yes, yes, and I really appreciate. I think you touched on a lot of things that, yes, very, very, very insightful, and there were some things that I liked because, like the feedback analysis, it's something I've been trying to do these days. Like, speak to people, what people think about you, and then you come back, do the introspection, and then do some corrections. And I like the fact that you mentioned that, so it confirms that, okay, I'm on the right path. And then you mentioned having a relationship with yourself. I'm just trying to give a summary for, I see that some people joined and have missed it. So having a relationship with yourself, doing personality tests, taking feedback, very important. Um, and you also made mention that sometimes you don't really figure out your purpose. I mean, the purpose comes with time. It might be short term, might be long term, but it the purpose comes as you move through life, and it changes as you move through life as well. And then also the communication, um, like your branding tips, you went as far as saying that what do you want people to see you for, or what do you want to be known for? That is the starting point. And then once you realize that you you know that, okay, you want people to know you as this, as that, as this, then you start showing up for yourself all the time. And how to stay consistent was very easy. You said you should think about the end goal and show up for yourself every day. So this is a summary of what you've given us, and we really appreciate this. Thank you so much. I think we should have a part two. Yes. Yes. Okay, so we'd like to end by a closing prayer. And I want Dorcas to do that for us since she didn't ask a question. I know she come and ask you
Well,
questions since
Dorcas is
you.
always asking questions.
Mm,
Maybe she's convinced. For everything I said, she doesn't have anything else to add.
I'm sure I've asked all the questions for her. But I know she'll enter your DM, so expect her.
Okay, thank you so much, Markini, for the discussion. I really learned a lot from the conversation, and I actually don't have any questions because you answered most of what's on my mind. So thank you so much.
You see, she's convinced. She
Yes.
doesn't need anything.
Okay, so I'm praying now. Our Heavenly Father, we thank you for today. We thank you for how far you brought us. We thank you for bringing us together to learn from Malkini. We pray that we pray that everything we've learned today will not only be listeners of it, but we'll actually put what we've learned into practice. I pray that may you continue to guide and lead us as we go on a mission to discover what you've made us for and what we are meant to do in the world. Let your will be done in our lives always. In Jesus' name have we prayed. Amen.
Amen.
Amen. Thank you so much. Thank you. Okay, everyone. See you same time next month. Bye.
Bye. Thank you too. Bye.
Bye, everyone.